today. I didn't let that intro run kind of all the way out. But here we are. We are live in the studio today with a special guest, Thomas DeMoss. Thomas, thanks for coming. When I was running around Chattanooga doing a lot of wholesaling and rehabbing, the only guy that was kicking my ass every single day was Thomas. So we ran into each other at the RIA meeting the other day. So I was excited to have you come in. So let's get right to it, man. Yeah. How much money did you make today?
Man, we had 2 closings today. We made about $33,000, which, is a lot of money to some. It's not a lot of money to a lot of people, but it's a lot of money to us. It means we can keep going for another month. Yeah. So I'm good to go.
Well, it's just one day in the month. So how, were these rehab deals, wholesale deals?
No, David, I've moved away from the majority of doing flips, and most of what we do now is wholesaling or wholesaling.
Nice.
So the only thing that I'm willing to rehab is stuff that I'm a hold.
Yeah, and is it because just the market shifted, or what's the reason?
Flipping's a pain.
It's tough, man. It's a lot of work.
I don't like it.
And that used to be all that you guys did.
It was. I mean, my partner Wally. That was kind of his thing, and we've really streamlined our business, and the margins that we're able to make on wholesaling, not to attract more competition.
Yeah. But Chattanooga's a terrible market.
Yeah, it's awful. But we've been able to make really good margins on it. And just from a freedom standpoint, I don't have to, do a lot with it. It works out really well. So, yeah.
So when you were rehabbing, how many did you guys do? You guys were doing a lot. For our market,
market, we've historically done about 40 deals a year, and we probably do, at the most, we do 10 flips a year. So it was a good bit. We've actually moved into more new construction than anything.
Really?
So, yeah.
How's that going? How many of those have you done?
We have done one under our general contractor license. And then I found out that I really like it when other people do that for us.
So then you got to pay them.
You do, but it's not as much as you would think.
Really?
Yeah. It's 15%. We're building one right now, build to rent. Then my total cost to build, including land and everything, we tore a house down, it was $167 a square foot. Okay. If I put that thing on the market right now, I could give it away for $200 a square foot. That's a no-brainer. So I've got instant equity into there, and I'm not touching anything. Yeah. So it'll rent. It's just, once again, we heard this at the investment or the real estate meeting we're at. Like, we're into this for freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what that has allowed me to do, is create really good, partnerships with other folks. So,
nice. Yeah. So your background, you come from more traditional real estate, being an agent, right?
Yep.
Was that when you how long ago did you start?
So I actually I was in the investment side first, just buying whole single family. Okay. Yeah. But what I did, let's see, I'll be 50 this year.
53 this year.
I know.
Gets them quick, right? It doesn't feel like 53.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Like I remember when my dad was 50, I'm like, oh, that guy's old.
It's old.
I don't feel like I thought that would feel like.
I feel really good. I can still do the same stuff. But what I did was I was working a job. I was a sales guy. So I had a W-2 income until 7-8 years ago. And I got my real estate license, did really good. I was actively being an agent for about 2 years. Yeah. Did more than most agents do because we already knew the business.
Right.
But then we migrated into full-time, the investment side, fix and flip, wholesaling, buy and hold, things like that. Yeah.
So it wasn't a big transition for you, like a traditional real estate agent going, oh, wholesaling, it's weird.
Oh, no.
No.
I had to come to grips with it, because it was like, well, you're taking advantage of people, and you're not. No. I mean, I liken it to this. I hate buying cars.
Yeah.
Get me out of the dealership as fast as you can. Like, I will pay you whatever. Yeah. Just get me out of here. Like, that's to some level, that's what our clients want. They want ease. They want simplicity. They want their life back.
Right.
And that's what we did.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people. Somebody is losing sleep tonight over this property, right? Whether it's death, divorce, taxes, probate, bad tenant, tax liens, whatever it is. And they just want a solution. And they don't want to, a realtor is going to come in and, no shade on realtors, but make these false promises of you can sell it for more, and then go through the showings and all the, it's stressful. So
it is.
I remember when you guys started first rehabbing, you were in is it Churchville, what is that area down there? Like one of your first couple rehabs. Like, you guys did a killer job on those.
I drive by, we were in East Ridge in Tennessee right now, and I haven't been over here in a long time. Really? I've got a rental property over here, but we used to flip a ton. Our first one was on Blanton, and then we've done some down where you have downtown. A lot of down in Highland Park. we've done several. Those were fun. I love those. They were unique houses.
Your level of design was great. And that was one thing I always
appreciate
admired
that
because I'm not good at that.
That was
I
a
can't
lot
do
of my wife.
any of this stuff here. Like I'm like, oh, I can get the walls up. I know that we need outlets. Like I'm good, and it's going to be gray or it's going to be beige. But the design elements I've never been good at.
Yeah, it was fun. I do have to give a lot of credit to my wife. She helped kind of put a lot of that together because it was. I'm a pretty straightforward guy as well. Like, let's just paint everything the same color.
I want the same carpet in every house.
Absolutely.
Same laminate, the same LVT, whatever it is.
They worked out good. They really did.
So it's kind of some of the biggest reasons for going from the rehabbing to the wholesaling, just was it just aggravation, crews, payroll, all of it, some of it?
It's a lot. I do the payables for our business, and, it's just one of those things. I just didn't like it. And
so that's interesting because I thought that was like your guys' thing.
It was a thing, and we liked it, but just the way we're able to turn deals now is much faster. I have you obviously know my partner Wally Reese. We had a great time. That was with him we could do that because I could utilize his expertise. Now that he's gone and done his thing, and we're kind of doing everything differently. I've gone back to my core business, which is buy and hold.
Nice.
That's what I want to do. I could tell you that, and I've said this before on other shows, my biggest regret is we sold too much.
Oh my gosh.
We sold too much.
When I get together with like Randy and Thomas.
Talked to Randy the other day.
Yeah, like that's like when we were buying houses in Highland Park for $14,000. Like it's disgusting. But we were young. We had to. We needed them $5,000 at the time. Like the $5,000 was a big deal. We had to keep. You had to be alive. Our kids needed shoes. Our dogs needed food.
And we made good money on those.
Oh, we made ridiculous money.
So it was, but there was one. I mean, I know you got a lot of stuff around UTC. There was one we bought on 10th Avenue for it was $20,000. And we had all in. When we were done with it. It was about 160.
Wow!
And that house just sold for over $500,000 last year. Yeah, I was like, should have kept that one.
I know. So. There's so many of those. So if you're watching this and you're new, you definitely always keep more than you think. Whatever you think you should be keeping, keep twice as many because there will be a day where we have a big portfolio. We're like, we need to liquidate 2 or 3 of these. We need to take that money and put it into one of our other businesses or something else. So wholesaling life a lot easier.
It's gotten harder, if you can believe it.
Tell me, because I'm obviously not wholesaling.
I
don't wholesale at all anymore.
No, I think real estate in general has gotten a little bit more challenging. Obviously, we've gone through, with COVID and all the other stuff we went through. The new normal is crazy. And we've seen that sellers are taking a lot more time. The stuff and with Chattanooga growing. Kind of the easy pickings, those are gone.
That's what I used to tell people. I said, when we first started, when I started in 2009, you could walk down the street in Chattanooga and just pluck houses.
Yes,
literally
absolutely.
Any day you could just go down there and find a house without working hard. And there's so many of them, but it's like a stocked pond. At some point, you eat up all that inventory.
Yes,
and there's always new stuff coming in, and things are going to happen. But those easy, low hanging, boarded up houses,
they're gone. Yeah. I mean, obviously, just transaction oriented. A lot of the stuff that we've done, there's probate issues, it's foreclosure. There's always something challenging that we have to go through. It's very rare that we put something in a contract, we submit it to title, and they go, "Hey, everything's good.
We can close this tomorrow."
It does not happen very much anymore.
No, that's Well, that's I was telling you before. That's our life.
I know.
That's all we do.
Absolutely.
We stopped the foreclosure today in California.
Oh, cool.
On a file we got Monday. The foreclosure was today. We actually stopped yesterday, and the foreclosure was supposed to happen today.
That's awesome. That's a good feeling.
Really it's great. Knowing that ultimately, as investors, our job is to really help people and not make things worse. So it's always nice when we can do that.
Yes.
So, so coming into 2025, have you done your numbers? Like, what did 2024 look like as far as deals?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So I'll reference a couple of things. I know you're big in mastermind groups, and we've been in a few. Real estate's all about numbers. Everybody's like, "What do you do? What did you do?" And when we joined one called 7-Figure Flip, and obviously the goal is, absolutely, Bill's great, make $1 million. And then we talked to a lot of people before, and hopefully you guys that are watching or get started can learn from this. if you have $1 million in revenue, that's not in your pocket.
No.
So there was a bunch of people like, yeah, we made $1 million, but we spent 900,000 in operating costs. Yeah. So in reality, and one of the things that our numbers are a little distorted, we always usually hit close to, we could hit $1 million in revenue every year. But we don't put into that number the stuff that we keep.
Right.
So that's not there, but we're close. Our operational spend is probably as high as we've ever been. We're probably around, which for Chattanooga is relative, 25,000 a month between all of our advertising and.
Oh my goodness! I'll switch with you. I'm at 62 just.
I know.
Just payroll.
I know.
Well, you see them all out there. Right?
Yes, they're out there. Yeah, we've stayed lean, able to pivot when we need to, but. The advertising costs have gone up. There is a little bit more competition. Everybody's been talking about the changes in the real estate market and the investment side and the wholesale and assignment of contracts. Okay, fine. Change it. I'm okay.
Yeah. Again, that's always a great thing about us as investors. We're very easy to pivot on our feet.
Right.
Like we can tap dance where it takes states and governments longer to enact stuff. We can go from wholesale to novation pretty much on a dime.
Absolutely.
Very, very within weeks, right?
Yeah.
So your focus this year is going to be 100% wholesale, and with some buy and holds on the side.
No,
we're
going to stretch. You mentioned novation. It's funny. I had our team meeting today, and we've not done novations.
Okay.
But I think we're going to have to step into that in order. We're doubling down this year. We're going to. Our goal is 60 transactions. Nice. That's about almost double, a little bit over double what we did.
I've hit that.
So.
We've done more than that, but it was with a massive team and in 28 markets.
Yes.
So there becomes a buyer absorption issue on how many wholesale deals can you put out at once.
Right. And for the most part, our end buyers on our deals tell us we put out good deals. So that makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Maybe we're leaving money on the table. I don't know. But we want our folks to make money.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you. I have a suspicion, but I've never been like, I want to hit you for highest and best. I'm going to keep going back to you over and over. And there have been people who've operated that way in Chattanooga. My deal is we're a high-speed wholesale company.
Yeah.
Like if that's our model, if I put it out at 142,000, I've got 20 grand baked into it. If you come to me and go, I'll give you 142 or 141, boom, we're done. I'm moving on to my next one.
Yep.
Like I tell people it's like the I Love Lucy with the pies, right? Like more deals are coming in. I got to get these out so that I can focus on them.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to do. We try to treat our end buyers well. And they appreciate that.
Yeah.
So treat both sides, sellers and buyers, as well as you can be, so they'll come back to you.
Well, especially in a local model. Because guys, for those of you that are listening that maybe aren't super familiar with wholesaling or not up to date, like there's basically two models. The local model, which is what you do and what I did originally, which is we're here in the community. I know you, you're a buyer. What's going on with your kids? Saw you're on vacation. Like we have that very personal relationship. Whereas a virtual model can be different because I'm popping in and out of different towns all the time. And I don't have a chance to build a relationship with Bob. So my marketing has to be different. It has to be way more aggressive. But, you talk about scaling up in payroll and offices. Like I've scaled up companies a few times with different partners, and I've been small, I've been big, I've been small, I've been big. We've done a bunch, and I would probably I would never go back to 28 markets ever again.
I don't want to do that either.
No,
I like
it gets
Chattanooga.
too complicated. There's too many moving parts. So if I was ever going to do it, I'm coming back, and we're gonna dominate this town. But
you just do this nationwide transaction coordination.
You don't want our team rolling back into town.
Oh. Yeah.
I think we only ran into each other one time on a deal. Do you remember? You got that deal.
I know. It's funny. It's odd.
You had a better relationship, I think, with him.
We don't run into a lot of the competition in Chattanooga. I know most of them, and we don't really cross over a lot, which is good. But it's just it is that there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
So,
there's plenty of deals out there. People would always ask us about competition and going into other markets, and I'm like, I'll put my team up against anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we'd have a good fight, but like most people, even though they're competition, they're not answering the phone. They're not. They're just not doing any of the things.
It's crazy. So you mentioned Randy Shelley. We had lunch the other day, and this is a guy who's just done well.
Oh my God.
Really,
he was one
really
of our original partners.
And Randy says, you know what? There's no secret sauce to this.
No.
You've got to work hard.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, well, I want to make enough money so I don't have to work hard. I don't know any entrepreneur that has stopped working.
No.
They just
I can tell you the ones who have failed.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot. I was on a real high level Zoom call yesterday, but we were talking about one of the big coaches in the country, and they have, over the last 6 months, really stepped away from their business with that fantasy that we hear in masterminds.
Yeah.
Of, you're going to be in the owner's box,
Right.
and you're going to find all these people, and they're going to operate, and you're just going to oversee. And I'm here to tell you that does not work in real estate.
No.
I don't know any small business where that's going to work.
No, I don't. And I tell you, going back to when I first got into the real estate space and I got my license and Bigger Pockets was big, and I'd have 100 people a year call me and say, hey man, tell me what you're doing, because I want to buy enough properties to quit my job. And they would quit their job after 2 or 3 properties, and then they would go back to their job because they realized that's not enough.
Yeah. Owning rentals is not a get rich quick scheme.
No.
It's a long term. I'm like six years away from all my rentals being paid off.
Okay.
So, which is awesome. But yeah, like I'm making, cash flow every month, but I'm also putting it right back into the destruction that these people leave behind.
Well, Steve Trang,
so he's my buddy.
He said a term on his podcast that rental properties are not passive income; they're reliable income. And I'm like, that's one of the smartest things I've ever heard.
He's smart. Steve Trang
he is smart. Never met him, but I've never met him.
We're
But
going to have lunch week from Monday.
He's a good guy. But that's it, because rental properties take work.
Yeah.
Even if you have them managed, you cannot.
No, I have Ashley Cross does mine, and I'm still involved, answering emails, looking at stuff, running over there. Sometimes I just put my people on it instead of hers because it may be cheaper.
We do the same thing. So
Do you self-manage your properties?
I self-manage my AB class properties. I do have property management for, it's probably C class properties, but I just don't want to fool with it. They take too much. The AB class,
pretty straightforward.
Fairly simple. Fairly simple.
I feel like I've just run through for the last year just some turn of people that had been there for a long time, people pass away, people, whatever it is. My God, I got one the other day over in Eastlake, and I'm like, what did these people do to this place? It's going to be like $20,000 to fix it up. I'm like, all right, we'll start this one next month.
I know.
Oh, Lord.
I did the same thing. We got one in Rossville. Same thing. It's I don't think I've had a tenant in there for longer than 10 months.
Yeah.
It just constant turn.
So for those of you that are like, fuck the landlords, they suck. Let me just tell you, the reality is we're not over here like rolling in the dough. I watched this lady, Vina Cox-Jones. She wrote some great books about lease options and subject to. But she made a post one day. She's like, real estate millionaires are the only people that have to look in their sofa for quarters to go buy coffee. Because
it's true. It is true.
There are definitely months where we're like, oh man, I start having to watch the bank account a little more closely because we did a bunch of rehabs or something happened or places are vacant or whatever. Tenants stop paying.
I came from a very conservative style of investing. My dad was one, you got to save money. I'll be honest with you. Like right now, I'm at my lowest cash reserves I've ever been in my life. And I'm doing it because I'm trying to stretch myself.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. Like I will I will run that thing with 2 wheels off the cliff, right? Trying to get it through. I'm like, and it always works. It always works.
No, you can always, if you've got equity in real estate, you've always got something.
You got it. Yeah. And, if you understand how to do something like wholesale,
right?
I know that if my back was against the wall, I could go out today and get a deal and sell it to somebody.
Absolutely.
Today, if somebody was holding a gun to my head, I know that's always the ability. So tell me again, this year, more wholesales?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. I've got a goal to hit a certain number of rental properties. We're almost there. And then your next question is, what do you do when you hit that goal? Well, I guess I moved the number a little bit.
Yeah. Are you bank financing, owner financing? How are you doing?
It's funny. I did a lot of owner financing, but now I'm doing bank financing. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I've always had, you hear a lot in our industry about go get private money. I'm a big believer in go have good relationships with local banks who give you really good terms.
Yeah.
I do a lot of business with local banks and they treat me really well, and I can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah. I'm a big believer. Almost all of my properties are owner finance.
Yeah.
I love doing owner finance.
There's no issue with it. Yeah. I did. A gentleman in Saudi, I bought 8 of his properties. And
what's his first name?
David.
Oh, there's another guy. The guy that used to own the drywall place. Didn't he sell you some of his? I can't remember. Think of his name. You know, was it S&M drywall or something?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Did he sell them to you?
He did not.
He sold them to somebody that I know.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
I know
I was
who
thinking
you're
it was
talking
you.
about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. When he got out of the business, he sold a bunch of his stuff.
I wish it would have been me.
I know, me too.
I love owner
Who
financing.
did he sell
It's
to?
great.
It's somebody we know. That's old age. Kid.
Yeah, my challenge was when we owner financed those, and I did this. What was it? 3 years ago, back when rates were super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I had those 8 properties. I had bought them for so cheap, and I had rehabbed them because they needed a ton of work. So I had a lot of equity in those houses. And then when rates were just freaking 3.5%, I refinanced them.
Yeah.
My mistake was I should have refinanced them for more. Gosh, I have.
People keep telling me because our portfolios, it's a bunch, and they're like, "Oh, you should go refinance it all." I'm like, yeah, like I'm at 5 and 6% on my owner finance now.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, do I want to refinance them and start the hamster wheel all the way over again?
Yeah.
No. My goal when we bought them, because I didn't really start until I was 40.
Okay.
So I really wanted to be retired at 50, and I was kind of pissed that I couldn't make those notes work. So I put the most have 20. Okay. So the last ones fall off before I'm 60 or 59 or something. So then I have all that, 40, 50 grand a month in cash flow just to live on forever. And then also, when I came here in 2009 after the crash, I saw people, some of these big builders, the big landlords and stuff, like going under because they were over leveraged. Oh, yeah. So I'm very paranoid. That's my PTSD, is being over leveraged.
I've probably got at least 50% equity in most of our properties. Yeah. And it was like going back, I could increase that a little bit and made money because I was borrowing at 3.5. I could put it in a savings account. Like it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
I
look at it now and I'm like, I might have a package of 5 or 6 that I might refinance this year. Just pull some cash out and get some stuff caught up. But I would not want to put them all back under a loan.
No, I agree with you. We've got several that are paid off as well. It's just, it feels good. It gives you a little bit of like, that warm and fuzzy. Like I got them.
And I get it. If your strategy is the other thing, I'm not knocking it. I always tell people, this is how I run my business. You do whatever you want to do. Yeah. I'll just give you my perspective as somebody that's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah. The thing that I see is at some point you can, like you asked me, I self-manage. At some point I won't be able to do that, which means I'm going to have to bring somebody in. That's going to be a cost. Yeah. I can continue to buy assets with that, but there's going to be a trade-off.
Yeah.
There's, you can have 50 houses, have them all paid for, and basically self-manage them for the most part and be doing really, really well.
Ridiculously well.
Yes.
For me, when I started the transactions, I had the transactions company going. I was coaching at the time and had the wholesaling company going. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I was becoming the bad landlord.
Yep.
Not because I just didn't care, but a tenant would call me and say, "Oh, the air conditioner's working great. Hey, Jay Connor, I need you to get over there." Yeah, I'll do it. Boom, boom. And I thought I was done. 4 days later, the tenant's like, "Why is my air not done?" I'm like, "Oh, because I wasn't following up."
I know.
So like I was becoming the bad landlord. And then, so when we thought about doing it, I brought in Chris King and Ashley, and I said, there's 2 people that I trusted. I said, "Here's my portfolio. Take a look at it." Ashley's like, "I can raise your rents $11,000 a month." I'm like, "Oh, I'm also that landlord that's under rented because I wasn't paying attention close enough." So for me, I mean, other than the turns, which are a little more expensive, she made me more money.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do see that. And I've kind of looked at that as a trade-off of, and I do agree that most of my rents are slightly under market and they're there for a reason because I want my folks to stay. That's why.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, I know I've kept you here for a little bit. What are a lot of people watching this? Most of the people are probably new. Like, what's some advice of 2 old guys that have been doing this for a long time? Because it's discouraging. A lot of people do come into this business. Real estate is amazing. It can make you so much money. It can give you a life that you've never dreamed of. I know it's done that for both of us. But so many people quit, because it's hard. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated, and there's deals out there.
Yeah.
The thing that I would say in my mind is I've kind of put it out. You can't just buy rental properties. You're going to have an active income to support that quote unquote passive income. And then you're going to get to a point in your life where you've built up that nest egg. You can let this active stuff go away, but you can't do that overnight.
Right.
I mean, there's few that have, and that, kudos.
Everybody gets lucky,
right?
Everybody gets that package or whatever. And
it's great. But I would everybody, don't feel embarrassed if you have a W-2. That's the thing. Everybody shames you if you have a W-2 job. Hey, keep it.
You can get a loan. There's a lot of things you can get that I can't get.
Yes.
Without a lot of aggravation.
So don't feel bad that you do that. But no, real, real estate is a game changer.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I would encourage anybody to at least go buy one house and then step into the next one. It's not hard. If you start young, you can buy one house a year.
God. I love mentoring like young kids that are like
Yes.
22. I'm like, bro, I wish somebody had given me a book or done something.
I know.
And got me on the road.
It's crazy. If you started 10 years earlier and bought one house a year, which is not hard, by the time you're our age, you could have 30 houses, which is can change your life.
These kids got a lot more energy than we got.
They do.
But also, the business is so much easier now.
Yeah.
My God, like the thing I do, I lay in bed at night and I'm like, you know, when I was at UMass, if I had started wholesaling then, I could have put out bandit signs. But then I get into like, well, how in the world would I have comp properties?
Right.
So, you know, Lou Brown is. Lou Brown, like when we talk about the ghost, like this is the guy, right? I asked him how he comped. What do you think he said? It's good. I almost fell out of the chair laughing.
Not Zillow, I'm sure.
No. This is in the late 70s, 80s.
Okay.
Before Google. He said we would open the newspaper and go through. So real estate listings used to be in the newspaper and also for rents. He's like, we would just scour through, pick out 5 or 6, go drive to them, look at them and go, oh, okay, that looks close.
You know, I did the same thing.
Yeah. I was close to that. In 2002, when I started, you could pull up, it was Real Source or Real Flow, one of those things. And you could get the properties, but there was no Google Images to go look at. So I had to print the sheet off and then go drive around to them.
Yeah. When we first got started doing rentals, I would go to the other rental properties to see what my competition looked like. I don't do it anymore, obviously, because I know that for the most part, those people weren't doing a good job with the rental properties. And mine was going to be better. So,
Cool. Well, before we end, I want to tell you, guys, one of the things that actually I admire Thomas and his company about that they do absolutely better than anybody else is client reviews and testimonials.
Well, I appreciate that.
You guys, dude, I would just watch them and be like in awe and pissed that you guys went to every single closing.
Yeah.
Like I used to go to the same title company. Your sign would be in the corner because you guys are closing so often there that you would have their sign and your sign that we closed the deal. And having a presence on social media is incredibly important. We're now, they're calling it the trust economy, where people are going to look you up. Even people that come over to Easy REI Closings, we have links for partners and everything, but almost everybody comes through Google because they see that and then they Google you and then they come back over.
It's funny. You said something on one of your shows the other day about having a personal brand.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I'm a marketing guy. Like, that's a no-brainer. I don't care if people go to my website and see a picture of me and my family. I want them to know who I am. It makes a difference. So, and I go to other competitors' website and there's nothing on
Drives
there.
Me crazy, right? Like
why
why in the
are
world?
you?
Why would I do business with you? You don't even put your name on here. I get it. You don't want to put your kids. Cool. No problem. Right? But
kids are a tax write-off.
I know.
It's modeling.
I know it is. So for me, I feel like I have a face for radio. So I didn't ever want to be in front of the camera. But I used to, when I sent out postcards, I had this caricature. I was on this like 30-day cruise and on Norwegian, and they were doing these free caricatures, and the guy did it on it and printed off this postcard. So I scanned that, and that was what I used.
Absolutely.
And I would go out to properties, and the guy would go, I would remember, I had this one guy, you look just like the cartoon. I'm like, I think that's a compliment.
I remember that. It's crazy what putting your picture out there, dude. We started doing television commercials 3 years ago, and people were saying, like, you know, the brand identity, people will recognize you, just like social media. Like, you may not have seen a friend for 20 years, but you know what's going on in their life. That's powerful. And that's what you building that brand and letting people know who you are.
At the end of the day, that's why a seller chooses us, because they trust that we can solve the problem that they've got. That's it. At the end of the day, if they don't trust you, they'll sign your contract and they'll ghost you. You know?
You're right. You're right.
Cool, man. Thanks so much for coming by the office. It's awesome to have you here. Guys, we'll see you on the next one.